Here we go.
Let's go. Yep.
Okay, the next
great.
matter here we have, Jody and James Curley Egan.
Have
for
all
the
your
property at
receipts?
Yes, we have receipts.
at 7 Market Street.
The other ones came in digital, the actual receipts.
Yeah, I did the digital, so I have access to the return receipts if we need.
So you said that one,
Yeah.
two, I got four back.
Four in question, and we have 4 back.
Yeah, there were just 4 from what I remember. Okay, hold on
Yeah.
1 second.
Yeah.
Gotta make sure we have
See the difference between
here.
this
Let me.
public hearing and the
I'll
last
need
one?
these back.
How many people you got?
See, this
Fine by me.
this was relatively limited. I'm gonna hand you. Let me pass this down. You work on that, but I'll need everything back. Okay? Because we.
I just want
this
to
was,
glance at it.
Pass that to Allison, and, okay, so here, is the survey. Bear with me. It's all gone together. I have to say, Chris has made it easy where, okay, there we go. Now, did you have a copy of this? Did you see that?
Not yet.
Not yet, okay, so that's yours. And so my understanding of this is that we have,
Raising the roof.
I got that.
you got a copy of it now, but
Yeah.
that's, here's the back. But I'll tell you what, why don't I hang on to this? This is the original. I'll leave that there. And then I'll get one down to Allison. You've got, this is your full copy of that. Allison, this is for you.
Thank you.
So, okay, there is an issue with the front yard. We have here, well, I'll let you actually make the application first, and then we'll discuss
Okay.
the denial from the building inspector.
Right, so the building as it exists, it has an original mass of 2 stories in the front, which is, I think, at the curb, 20 feet wide by.
And try to speak just loud enough
20
so you
feet
can-
wide by, this is the original mass, by about 12.5 feet deep, on which there was an addition, a sort of shed addition of a kitchen and a bathroom on the back of it, which is 12 feet deep, also sort of 19.5 feet wide. So we're proposing, we've had a certificate of appropriateness issued by the HDRB to add on to the addition that's already on the back of the house. So there are 2 stories in the front, the original mass, 1 story, the already added onto mass, which is original. I mean, not original.
But to the rear.
Sort of rear to the rear, adding on to the top of that. So the entire structure will be 2 stories. So the actual footprint of the property is not changing, but the mass is changing by give or take 30%.
When you say mass, the mass of the structure,
Mass of the entire.
but not the
structure.
footprint on the lot.
The footprint is staying that we're building totally.
Does it have a
different
deck off the
concepts.
back,
It does
or-
have a deck off the back.
And that
staying.
was an original deck, or it pre-existed?
Yeah.
All right.
You're not raising the front, are you?
No.
Just
And
the
nothing
back.
in
Nothing.
even the addition on the back is not being raised. The roof line on the addition is only keeping with the roof line that exists in the front of the house. So
Right.
we're not actually raising the roof.
You're not raising the roof, but
No.
you are raising,
The
you
back.
are adding
The back.
onto the back.
Adding onto the back.
Going up, okay.
Sorry, I
Yes.
didn't say raising the roof.
Yeah.
I was thinking about the front of it.
I thought you were talking about all the people here.
Oh, no.
So there, again, you're staying at 2.5 stories.
Two
2
stories.
stories entirely.
Oh, 2 stories rather than 2.5, right?
Right, or,
Okay.
right.
Yes.
Thank you. And, so here we have the building inspector's denial, and it was on the basis of a variance needed for the 40-yard business district
Right.
front yard setback. And currently, the residence is, sitting entirely on
property
the
line,
east
yeah.
side on
Yep.
the property line. Okay, so it's in part grandfathered in essence, you're not changing the footprint.
Right.
And the side yard variance, 5 feet, and the existing residence is entirely in the side yard setbacks on both sides, north and south.
Yeah, it's pretty flush.
So you have a front yard, 2 side yard setback issues.
Correct.
And at the same time, the house itself is not, the whole footprint is not being changed.
Right. So just really
You're not
building
even
out,
gonna see the
building out the back of the
Right.
second floor, which from looking at it from the street, you wouldn't even see it.
So you can see it from New Street.
From New Street, but not
Yeah.
from Market
Not
Street.
from Market Street.
Let me ask you, is the house, are you completely taking down the house and rebuilding? No.
No, we're keeping the frame of everything that's there.
Uh-huh.
The roof on the single story back, the shed addition, that's gonna have to actually, just in order to keep the floor line on the second floor level, because it's a shed addition, the roof actually comes up. So if you're in the kitchen, which is the back of the house, it's a higher ceiling.
Yeah.
The ceiling in the front of the house is like
Yeah, it
6
slopes down.
Slopes down.
Right, so we'll
Towards
have to do.
the back of the
right,
yard.
so we'll have to do non-conforming ceiling in the back of the house also. So that structure will, the frame will change there, but the frame of the front of the house is gonna remain as is.
You
That's
changing the
addition-
outside, you put new clapboarding on the outside?
The,
Doors?
well, ideally, no.
Well,
It currently has asphalt siding, covering wood siding that we think is somewhat original. We haven't been able to remove the asphalt siding without the certificate of appropriateness, so I've peeled back some of it. The idea is to just refurbish the siding that's there underneath the asphalt siding. Yes, that would be the idea. So it's to keep the wood clapboard.
Okay, I'm looking at, so,
Keep the windows on the front.
let me take a look at this. So we have, so in part we have a, see, max permitted is, see, that says 30%,
Yeah.
but in the B1 district, isn't it 35?
Yeah. Oh, B1?
Because this is worked out for the R1, so it's a B1 district,
It should be a
right?
B1, yeah.
So,
Is that the site plan that's on?
yeah, if you take a look, can we look at,
Oh, yeah.
That says R1.
That
Oh,
says
this is
R1.
R1?
That says R1, yeah.
I think I drew that from, I don't know if that was the generic one.
okay, so,
Sorry.
yeah, 35%, so you're actually under it.
You're
It should
under,
be
you're
30
fine.
35%.
So really only to worry about is the front yard and side yard variances.
And where did you come up with the 30%? Is it somewhere
Well, I
indicated?
probably cribbed it from another
I think that
form, which
I don't know.
was an R1 form.
This is B1.
Where's the survey?
Where B1
R1 is 30%.
R1 is 30%, but this is the
B1 is
B1.
35.
Yeah.
I
So-
did this so long ago that I don't.
It's an R1, you used an
I don't know why I
R1
used that
form.
one, yeah, sorry.
So how did you come to discern that it's a 33% coverage of the area of the lot? And where did you pick that figure up from?
Because it's 25 feet deep on a 70-foot lot. So, and it's flush to the sides, right?
Yeah, that
So I went
gr-
by square footage actually, so the entire lot is 1,400 square feet, and so just the ground floor is about 500 square feet.
Yeah.
So
Building
that's
percentage of
like
lot
just under
coverage
a third.
25%.
25%, not 35%.
25 is R3, B1 is 35.
Yeah, we're being.
34.9.
No, 34 F2.
Yeah.
What is it?
34 F2?
B1 is down here, yeah.
9F2.
F, 9F2.
Isn't that accurate?
F2.
Yeah.
So, on everybody on their copy, just cross that out
Sorry
for
about that.
35%.
And they
Just so that that's indicated, so it doesn't become confusing.
And cross out the R1.
Front yard.
Yeah, and cross out the R1 and put B1.
Yeah, this is B1. No, but I'm,
Okay,
Sorry about
no, not at all.
134 what?
134 F2. 134-9 F2. 134-9 F2.
F2.
Where's that?
Just gonna make the changes here real quick.
Sorry.
Let's see. So, again, you took 1,400 is your total square footage of the property.
Yeah, 1450, somewhere around.
And your total footprint of the
It's 20 by 25.
20 by 25.
So,
It's on page, you've got the PDF, it's page 22.
Lot coverage 35.
Oh, there it is, okay. F2,
Yeah, it's 35%.
yeah,
So he's under.
yeah.
He's under.
Yeah. Yep. Just making sure. Yes, you're just under. So you're under, it's not a lot coverage issue? I mean, it was looking like one here for a second. Briefly, it was mentioned, see, even in the denial by the building
Yeah.
inspector, it says 35 max, because it is B1.
Yeah.
So he's under that.
But it says non-conforming at approximately 1,307 square feet, right?
the
Pre-existing,
The survey, which I don't have in front of me, it has.
that's the lot size though, not the coverage.
Yeah, but that's the lot size, but so then you take the building mass and you
Oh, I see.
footprint and you divide it into that, right?
Right. I just don't have it in front of me. This is supposed to be,
So,
So it's, the lot size is .0343 acres, which in my memory comes out to.
you see, the building inspector put down 1,307 square feet
Right.
for the lot, and then you have
500.
And it's
Shows 30.
approximately 660. square
yeah.
feet.
So do we have? Yeah, because that's what I was thinking. It might be over. It is. Is it 38% on those numbers?
500 over 1307.
Okay, show us. See, we're getting
Right.
like 38%.
Well, I don't know if the building inspector had the accurate.
Okay,
lot size,
well,
so
but
that's
show
the-
us, you know, on
So
your
on the
survey.
survey, it's .0343 acres.
Yeah. Sure.
So, I mean, I have it.
Plus or minus.
Plus or minus, .03 plus, I know, I have the original, which.
Yeah, hold on one
was
second.
actually drawn.
Chris, was there something?
I'd like to get clarity as to what in the application I'm missing. Because based on my read of the application, all our documentation has been submitted properly. So I'd like to get specific documentation using the application itself as from your basis as to what I need to submit.
Well, we said a survey with a site plan.
I'm reading off the specific
Now, let's not do that now. We gotta finish
instructions.
him up.
I'm happy to wait. The specific instructions in the
finish him up.
application in which every line item in the instructions are met on this document.
Let's
So I'd
finish.
like to
Okay,
get-
all right, we'll talk afterwards,
Yeah.
thanks. I just wanted to know if, I wanted to check in and see what what you had come back in the room, that's all, thanks.
So he's getting the 1307 from the acreage, which is 1306.8 square feet. So maybe we should also grant the variance for the
Lot
lot
coverage.
coverage, just to be safe.
Yep.
Yeah, because I just want to make sure
It's
that
only 3%,
the dimension of
Yeah,
the
so-
improvement, so are we convinced about the dimension of the improvement? I mean, according to the survey, is it 500 feet square?
I can't read this, which was one of the
See,
questions.
that's one of the
It
Yeah.
should be on the site plan. This is, I actually, the engineer submitted, or the builder submitted the site plan on Monday without me having to submit, so the survey, you should have a site plan that was submitted to the.
By the way, the garage is not part of your property,
No,
right?
Right.
No.
And so when you're looking at, where do you get the numbers for the building itself? How do you figure from this, just if I was reading it from the survey, I don't know where else I'd be getting it from.
So there's no site plan?
This-
I mean,
this
the
is-
site proposal.
This is what we have. Is there a different
Yes,
survey?
submitted to Greg on Monday was from our builder, I mean, our designer.
So we have a real survey?
And it's
You
locked
have
in
to
the-
have
it's locked
you have
in
a
the-
site,
like
like a
in the
proposed
office?
site plan. The exact thing that I came back for
Yeah.
Right.
was submitted to your attention on Monday
Okay.
and received.
We'll
We
just check
can't
it
get
out.
in and get it?
I verified.
We can get in there, can't we?
Yeah, yeah. The only thing I saw in there was, you know, it would be in the mailbox, if anything.
Yeah.
But I believe
Sure.
it's only what Karen Parks just submitted, but just double check. Thanks,
I
Elliot.
think you submitted in person.
Well, the clerk confirmed.
The clerk confirmed, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm just trying to discern, for your sake and just
Of course.
for the application's sake, whether or not there's a lot coverage issue.
So if the house is really 500 square feet footprint, then we need to grant a variance of 38% lot coverage.
Right. Assuming that everything is accurate.
Assuming that this is
Approximately
correct.
1307 square feet.
If this is correct and the 500 square feet is correct, then we need a variance for the lot coverage.
So that's what you get for a .03 acre, right? 13.7.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the .03 acre, this is perhaps splitting hairs, but I'm trying to remember where I got this from, but it's .0343. If that, I mean,
What-
that is the difference of.
.0343.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not indicated on what we have.
I know, that's what I'm getting frustrated, but it's
So
my,
that makes it even higher because it goes to 1494.
So would it become closer to being within?
No, it's further.
No, he's talking about the square footage of the lot.
yeah,
Right, which
so
is,
it should make it go
oh,
lower.
wait.
It would make the percentage go lower.
I'm
Yeah.
going backwards. What did we say it was?
.0343.
Which is 1494. Yep, there it is.
33.346.
Okay.
So you would not need it.
So,
That's,
Would,
but we need documentation of where that comes from, is what you're saying. So,
Yeah,
that's fine.
maybe on your new survey it indicates more definitively that's point.
Well, we don't have a new, the proposed site plan is based upon this survey. So the proposed site plan I hadn't seen because the long story is that the reason that we didn't have it the last time because the turnaround was so long, I hadn't heard back from Greg whether or not we needed it instead of the survey. or an
You see,
additional
even that
survey.
little 343 makes a difference.
It does.
It puts you underneath and it puts it right on the figure you
Yeah.
gave us, so that would be good for the lot coverage. So I'm taking you on your word, but the thing is, we
Right.
would need some evidence of that.
right, we still need to get the survey from the office, and if we don't have that, then we'll have to wait.
I think in the end, yeah, because we'd have to be convinced that we don't need an area variance. But until we get that, we can move forward on the side yard, right?
Mhm.
Sure.
See, we already know the front variance and the property is flush up and it's keeping the same footprint, right?
Right.
Mhm.
And it would otherwise be 40 feet, so it would be a 40-foot variance right there. On the B1, correct?
Right.
And on the side yards, I believe it's 134. So this is like updated, huh? Thank you, Ellen.
Yeah, we did an entirely new application. Thank you.
Okay, well, here we go. See, it doesn't indicate 343. It's,
And it's the same survey, it would be on the site plan.
it's on the site plan.
If it's anywhere that's not
On the bottom.
extant.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, let me try to hand everybody one of each. Then I'll get it back separately. Here, I'll get you that. I'll take this. The rest of the bag.
So, just to pause for a moment, we don't actually, there's nothing official we can give Chris to tell him what he needs, right?
No, I would like an opportunity to read off the 4 criteria for the definition of a site plan and how this document in front of you
Okay,
meets all 4
then
criteria.
we'll have to wait.
Have to wait.
You have a document, it's the application. And
Sorry.
I have it in front of me, and I'm happy to have a discussion.
The other one was.
Okay.
That's
The second one was for Alice.
Okay.
Okay, we're almost there. Why don't we take a look at 134-9E to just double check on the side yard requirement? You know, while I get this just handed out.
3490.
Yep. And it says minimum lot requirements, 10,000 square feet, width is supposed to be 50 feet, depth 150, front yard is 40 feet, one side yard must be 5 feet, so E 5 and 6, 134-9, E 5 and 6 provides that
5 feet.
with a total of two side yards
both yards,
being
10 feet.
10 feet.
So we need to grant a
Yeah.
10-foot variance.
10
For
foot
10 foot,
variance.
Yeah.
exactly, all right? Okay, so here's
Rear
another,
yard is 10 feet. So we don't need a variance.
this is another, we've been duplicated on a few of these things. but
Kind of like, yeah.
Yeah.
Sort of, yeah.
I want to make sure everybody gets what's new. Okay, so here's the site plan, guys. Here we go. It's all full. Elliot, one more coming down your way. Great. All right.
If you have a fifth copy of that.
Yes, let me hand that to you and you can start explaining. Talk about it out loud. Show us where that .0343 can be picked up.
Well, here the lot area, so existing is 1337 actually, according to my designer. So I can only go by this, if he's done the measurements by then.
So he's saying it's 1337.
1337.
And you had 1498
Mhm.
in the last one? I'm making you change this over and over again.
This looks like it's more accurate than.
What, the current number there, 1337?
1337 is the one that, even if I'm shooting myself in the foot, the one I feel like I should stand by.
So if you could tell us where you got the .0343 acreage measurement.
I think that was based upon actually, and I'm sort of embarrassed to admit this, the original real estate listing, that was listed according to, I mean, we bought the house in February. And
So
this
that
was-
real estate, see, the thing is that real estate listing isn't
Isn't the
a
survey.
public document.
I agree. Yeah, so that's
Talking
why-
about the size of
right.
your lot, so
Right.
we're stuck here.
So I'd like
But
to,
this,
I'd like to just propose that we go with the 1337 number that's in the plan we
Right.
have and grant the variance for the extra lot.
That makes
So we
sense.
can-
Because how much, what's the
Yeah,
difference? between what-
it's,
Unless we're gonna go out there and
Negligible.
measure it ourselves, I mean, this is what we have.
yeah.
Unless you want to dispute this and ask for something more concrete, but I'm proposing that we accept this.
No, I agree, Aaron.
So what do you have here then as lot coverage with the 1337 on the 500?
Then I think it goes back to,
It's like 30, it's over 35, but.
Yeah, if you could tell me, where did you get the .0343, and then, obviously, you just told me you got it from a real estate listing, the 1337.
right, and that's what I'm,
So where'd you get the zero, with the .0343, where'd you get that initially that you had just told me a moment ago? Which would then input.
repeat myself. So it was from the real estate listing that I
So-
had just drawn it. That was the only hard figure that I had that didn't say .03 plus or minus. Like I hadn't, so these GPS coordinates that are on the survey, I hadn't done the fine-tuned measurement to see how much of an acre that actually is. The plus or minus that makes up the hundreds and thousands of an acre, I hadn't done that. But my designer here has, and it says 1337.
Okay, so your designer took that, he didn't necessarily take that.
He went by the survey.
He went by the survey, not the real estate listing.
Correct.
Okay.
He went only by the survey, he's never seen.
Okay, well, that, I just wanted to get that on the
Yeah,
record.
yeah, that's on the record.
So then we're back to granting the variance for 38%?
Yeah, let's find out exactly what it is. Is that what you just have there now? 37.39, so it's below,
Yeah, so do
30.
38.
so we'll grant it for 38, you're saying?
Okay.
Yeah, it's on.
38.
All right, I just wanted to get those numbers
Yeah,
straight,
yeah, I
that's all.
totally understood.
And that's something that's not necessarily on the application here. That I'm seeing, it's variance side yard setback, variance front yard,
Right, because
I mean, on the denial.
the denial, right.
Yeah.
Right, and that's true.
Okay, so anyway, we're gonna have to do that, and then as the side yard, we already know, this is a pre-existing situation. Do you have any knowledge when the house was built, just out of curiosity?
1860.
Well, I lived down the river in the 50s,
Yeah.
in the 40s, and it was there then.
1860, give or take. I don't know when the
Okay.
addition was put on.
That sounds
but
like a grandfather.
Presumably when indoor
It's,
plumbing.
the house looks like it's from
Oh, it's been there, like I said, I lived down in the 40s, and it was there.
All right,
It's
so,
moving on.
all right, so here we are now, I mean,
So then-
the more difficult thing was the lot coverage, which wasn't really mentioned. Although
Sure.
the numbers weren't seemingly gelling in my mind, because when I was asking you, can I ask you very quickly?
Absolutely.
On that new survey, you said your guy did, where is it indicated the size of the improvement, the house? Where are the numbers? Can you see it from there? Is there any indication about
Of the addition?
the depth and the width of the house?
Yeah, actually I can. So, in the front, so this 11 by 17. The street.
You got it right there?
So the street view, there's a foot measurement actually on the east
What do you
edge
got
of the
there?
house
What
that
does that
says
say?
20 feet.
Looks like 19.5 feet.
Is that what you got, you're looking at 19.5 feet that you're looking at, which is on your survey?
On the survey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's 19.5
19.5
feet,
feet.
and that's the width, and the depth,
The depth
is
is-
25.51?
See, my
25.5.
print, 25.5?
Yeah,
Yes.
okay. That doesn't change anything here, does it?
I can check if you want.
Yeah, let's just do it real quick. I just want to know that we've been able to relate back to
Right.
what we've actually been given. Okay, so that's 497 feet and a half. You were virtually looking at the same thing. So 40, yeah, and then divided by 1337. And we come out with,
Is that right? 1337?
yes, correct. So it's 3719.
So it's still a 38.
Yeah. Okay. It's 3719. All right, so that's done. And then everything else,
Thank
the
you.
front, everything else is obvious with regards to front yard setback and the side yards. Okay? And we do need a total of 10 feet. I see, is it basically, the house is right on the property line, both sides,
Within a few inches.
within a few inches?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we should just grant the whole
Yeah.
10 feet, right?
Right.
Yeah, all right, so,
Pre-existing.
is there any other questions from the board?
No, not for me.
May I see the site plan?
Yeah, sure. What he's doing in this case, Chris, is...
I don't, I should have, I just wanted to compare site.
Yeah, but he's not putting, he's staying within the same footprint. He's not making any additions. He's building up.
Thank you. That's good.
Any public comment?
No, that's it.
And,
Public approves.
so, is there anything else you want to, first of all, anything else from the board?
Nope.
Okay, anything else you want to add?
No.
Okay, have a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye. Okay. All right. We will look at, thanks. he went in a different order, so I'm gonna look at that. I mean, I have the same thing right here.
You do?
Yeah.
Well, use
And I'm
yours.
just gonna go in the order that,
Use yours then.
yeah, bear with me 1 second.
If you, so,
Go ahead.
the new, the sort of resubmitted application was lacking the environmental assessment form, so I just reprinted a copy that you had previously.
Right, it's a type 2 application.
Right.
Here, so.
So if you need it again, I have a copy, that's all I'm saying.
Thank you. When we have, okay, good, we have one in here. It's the same one you submitted before, right?
Yep.
All right, we have it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Your script.
But the footprint's not changing, the structure's not changing other than going up. So,
Tomato, tomato.
bear with me. Well, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna work off the ones that we have. All right, we're gonna go through the 5 criteria, and then we're gonna balance them. So, we'll have the board input on that. And the first one being, see, this doesn't have the additional language in it. So bear with
Which
me.
one?
Remember the can or cannot? Yeah, it doesn't have the can or cannot. Okay, so we'll just go ahead with this here.
Which
So
one do you
7
have?
market. No, it's just a slightly different language that Greg had handed us. So anyway, here we go. The first one criteria is whether the benefit of the, in this case, the addition of going up in the back and filling out the 2nd floor, not a 2.5-story, but a 2-story residence within the same footprint can be achieved by any other means feasible to the applicant.
No, but it doesn't cut against the application.
Take it short.
Yeah, that's what we used to do. And it doesn't do what?
It doesn't cut against, it doesn't
Well, you would
detract
say
from
that-
the application.
You would say that if it were yes, right?
Yeah,
But in this case, we're saying no.
okay, done. Okay, so, second item. Whether an undesirable change in the neighborhood or character, or is there a detriment to nearby properties with the proposed,
Yeah, addition.
improvement?
No, because you're not gonna see it from public
No.
property.
So they can.
And that's not
How do
even
you
on the
feel?
same street.
I agree.
Yeah, it'll hardly be noticed. In fact,
Thank you.
there's that big tree.
Like a mulberry tree.
There's the big mulberry tree there that blocks the.
Yeah,
blocks
very
it.
much, it's under canopy
Yeah,
back
yeah, I
there.
used to live on New Street, so I know exactly where you are.
Okay. And what about, is it in conformity with the other houses around there? I mean, pretty much, are they a
Pretty much,
2-story?
yeah.
Pretty much.
Pretty
House
much,
next
and
to
in
it's
fact, you don't
2-story.
even see them. You won't even see the back of the addition, but from Market Street, you won't even see the addition. And from the other houses around it, no, it wouldn't, it's not out, it would be very much in conformance with the other houses.
Okay, third item, whether the request is substantial.
You can consider substantial.
It's not a substantial change, I don't think.
Well,
not-
because we're looking at it at side, here's the thinking.
Okay.
You've got a structure that's already built, and you're looking at a full 10-yard side yard setback and a full 40 front yard setback, which sounds substantial.
Sounds substantial, except it's on a pre-existing house. It's an
Yeah.
addition being, a modification, an improvement to a pre-existing house that's been there since time immemorial on the property lines.
And the other properties are the same?
Pretty
You look at the house
much.
next door, yeah, you look at
Yeah.
the one,
The Blow House, and,
Phillips house down
there's,
there. Hell, it's smaller than most of the houses down there. Probably the smallest house down there. far. It is, even
It's
the house
tiny.
across the street.
Is the garage bigger than
To the
that?
right of the kayaks.
Right, that's a tiny little place, yeah.
But anything else on that, on the substantial issue?
We're saying no, it's not substantial.
That's correct.
Not substantial.
Okay? Okay, all right, so now, next question. Fourth, whether the request will have an adverse effect on the physical or environmental aspects of the neighborhood.
No.
And any reason why?
Well, there's no expansion of the footprint
No change in use.
and no change of use, but also no extent, and the improvement is on the back side of the house, which is concealed by a tree and really hard to see from the street.
And let's see, environmentally,
Nothing.
it's the same footprint.
Same footprint.
Same footprint.
And, okay, anything else on that one? Effects of environmental or physical on the neighborhood? Nothing else? Right, okay, number 5. Whether the alleged difficulty is self-created, and, you know, which is a relevant issue, it says here, but not determinative, so is it
If it's a
self-created?
quality of life, we're trying to improve your quality of life. Is it a difficulty?
It's self-created, but it's not sufficient to cause a denial.
And why not?
For the reasons we
We've
just
all
mentioned.
the
Okay.
other reasons we've just said.
All of the above.
Okay, so in the balancing of the 5 factors, we've said basically no to each item, so except
Right.
for self-created.
Right.
So in balancing each for the 5 factors,
Well, don't we say that the variance requested is substantial, but because it's a variance right to the, but it's not self-created, because
Right.
it's the variance is substantial because it goes right to the property line, but it was there before. That's the.
Within a footprint.
Yeah.
So you want to change the one where we said it's not substantial? Or you're thinking?
I mean, I think it's, or we say it's not substantial because. I mean, how do you want to?
Here's what we've said in the past. The board finds that it is granting the minimum variances as listed above that are necessary to complete the project.
Mhm.
is that accurate in this case?
Mhm.
Mhm. Yeah,
Sometimes I like to define substantial and not substantial.
right.
Couple of terms apart of there.
Okay, anything else added to that, other than what you just mentioned?
Um,
Because I think that the variances are the minimum under the circumstances
To be, yeah.
with a pre-existing structure the way
Right.
it is
Mhm.
that you would need.
Right.
You have,
Also-
go ahead.
Also the maximum.
Okay, but,
You can't
and,
grant any more than, but the minimum is the way to say it, you're right.
and so all this is in relation to, this is first is A, is 40-foot front yard variance, right?
Right. And 10-foot side yard variance.
Okay, and a 38%
Area.
lot coverage variance.
Yeah.
Which is 3%.
Yeah, 3% overage, yeah.
Okay, so having 10. Okay, so having put down these comments here and our thoughts, is there anybody who wants to make an application with, or an application
I'll
with
make a
reference to
motion.
the, yeah, motion with reference to the application?
Grant the variance.
Anyone want to second that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so everybody's voted yes on this. Okay,
Correct.
great. All right, and we'll get Greg when he comes back in a day or two to put this together, and we'll get it mailed out to you after we present it to the clerk.
Appreciate it.
Okay?
Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
The building inspector will be in touch.
That's good.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Have a good night.
All right.
I know you guys can adjourn if you want.
No,
Okay, great.
come on.
I don't mean to be a stickler, I just wanted to get, okay. Oh.
Did you forget something?
I forgot the binky.
Someone's gonna want that.
Okay, thank you. Get that back.
I'll separate a
This.
baby from their pacifier, everybody. That's-
Tom, I don't give these to you, right? I hang on to them. I hang on. All right.
So, I have in front of me the actual application that's downloadable from.
So by the way, we're
Chris Daly back.
presenting with Mr. Daly.
I got the zoning board of appeals application, notice to applicants, an application must be received, et cetera, and there are 10 bullet points. The bullet point number 7 is 8 copies of proposed site plan, which would clearly show the following. And there are 4 components of what a site plan is defined as. The footprint of the existing building, accessory buildings, porches, decks, walls on the parcel. Story heights of all existing buildings must be noted. The existing buildings are noted in this structure, in this documentation, and I apologize that the shading was not represented in your versions. I'll be happy to take a pencil and shade them in right now to create that documentation, but it is noted where the existing buildings are. The heights of the buildings are noted, the height and the existing of outside or additional properties or additional components on the building are also noted. The footprint of what is proposed should be also clearly shown. Again, I apologize for the shading. The shading demonstrates it is also marked in words what the new addition is and as part of the key. Story heights of all proposed buildings should be noted. Story heights are noted. The distance of the proposed building from the front, side, and rear property lines should be noted. The property lines, as indicated by the key, are fully documented as well, and actually in addition to that, the dashed lines indicate the zoning district front, side, near, and setbacks as they relate to the property lines and existing proposed lines. All of both the minimum R1 sides and the small lot sizes are indicated with dashed lines, in addition to measurements being taken about where those variances are and the distance of the building in all of its respect to the front, side, and back are all indicated. Further, the distances would be based upon existing distances noted on your property survey, not scaled off the survey. That would suggest that I should not be submitting a survey with a site plan on it, but the site plan is different from the survey. Finally, note should indicate the existing parcel area in square feet, 4,827 square feet. Those are the 4 conditions of the definition of a site plan by your own application. I'd like to know what aspect of the site plan has not been sufficiently submitted.
Where is it indicated? You said that the entire property lines are on there?
Yes, the entire property lines are indicated in the key, and that's
So
the
there's
extended line across.
Is that in dimension? Is that in?
Yes, and the dimensions and sizes are all marked clearly on all 4 sides of the property line.
Is that proportional? Because looking at the way that's
I
sitting.
don't know if you want
with all
to
due
define it
respect,
proportional
looking
or.
at, yeah, because I don't think it is. Because
It-
looking
it's-
at the
I
way
think-
it's, Chris, the way it's sitting there, it looks like the building takes up more than 45% of the property.
The building takes up, and we can do the math.
I mean, but just looking at it the way it's dimensioned
Okay.
onto that.
This is a scale drawing, and it demonstrates that it's 4,827 square feet of space, and I'm happy to do the math again.
Well, I can see the numbers on it, but whether the numbers actually correlate to an exact
So
dimension.
your concern is not with the quality of the document, but its accuracy?
Well, we want to see how it actually sits on the survey.
This is actually how it sits. So what you're asking for is not part of the application to the ZBA.
Yeah, let me ask you, when you look at that, right?
Mhm.
When you look at that document, can we look at the
And
document and then
I'm
we'll look
probably
at?
I'm probably the wrong guy to ask.
No, that's fine.
I have a landscape line that's staring at the
No,
same
that's
time.
all right. Now, when we look at that document, the size of the improvements relative to the size of the property, as he pointed out right here, does this appear to be more than, close to
But-
50%
I
of the
would
property?
okay. The perception of what you're seeing versus the actual math provided in both the site plan and
I
in the
understand
zoning
the math.
analysis.
The math, I understand.
Okay, but you're asking me to disprove something that is already incorrect and is a perception issue you're having because you don't happen to like.
Well, it's not a perception, the whole board is
Where's-
looking
where
for
are
a
you seeing the
survey.
rules for the applications that you were just
It's the
reading?
page 1. If I go to the village website
Mhm.
and then go to the zoning board of appeals site and then
Mhm.
click the link that says ZBA application.pdf.
Oh, there, sorry.
And it is page 1.
And when you look at this structure, on this piece, this is the structure, the whole improvement,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
In relation to this, he said this was the property line. This looks to be close to 40% to 50%, 45% of this entire space.
I'm not, if you're including.
Does that make sense? I mean, because.
Yeah, it looks much bigger
Okay.
than, just take a look
Then
at.
how it would actually sit on the
It's
survey.
the survey is what I want to see, is it this, it looks,
The survey does not include roof lines, I'd like to point out.
does not include,
And also, the survey does not include variance lines, which are additional dash lines, which may be impeding your perception of the property line itself.
Yeah, see, normally we get it presented this way, so
You
the
have-
whole
that
board
document
mentioned.
does not include. That document does not include dash lines indicating the zoning district front, side, and rear setbacks. The
Yeah.
document you have in front of us, marked site plan, is to the letter
No.
exactly what
Right.
your application requires.
here.
So I can tell you what the difference is that I think we're expecting. One is to have the dimensions, not just the height of the building. We've seen, that's
Okay.
what we've seen, so I would put
The
that
dimensions
on.
of the building are included in the remainder of the packet and are not iterated specifically as part of the site plan documentation. However, are iterated as 8 copies of the proposed design plans, which should show the following, including sizing. And these design plans, also submitted, include all the sizings.
Well,
Thank you.
here's what I'm proposing to do so we can get this voted on next time, is to bring the map bring the site plan with that stuff on it. That's what Greg has
That's
asked for in the
exactly
past.
what I provided. So to the letter of the application, Aaron,
Well, it's up to you.
We've
The board, obviously, we might have to make a change in what's written in there to simply say we want, because we've gotten it all the time from the applicants.
okay, but what am I not providing that you need?
Well, we just talked about it.
I've demonstrated in the documentation provided
and-
exactly how
Right,
they met
and
that
I'm
standard.
telling you that
Also-
we normally get something that is not mentioned in the documentation.
Which
And
is?
if you, which is the dimensions of the buildings?
The proposed
The
building
distance from
on
the
the
building
survey,
to the-
the proposed new structure with the existing structure on an actual survey.
So I have all the dimensions of the building,
On the same site plan.
not on that
Same
particular
survey.
site
And
plan.
that's what I'm telling you we normally get.
Okay, whether what you normally get, then needs to be iterated in your application.
We're gonna do that. We're
But we
gonna do
can't
that.
do it tonight.
Understood. But
We're
then
gonna do that.
you
We
can-
understand-
You can
Chris, we understand.
recognize my significant frustration with it.
We understand the point. We do. We usually get it. We usually get it, and in this case, we didn't get it, and the public made very clear there are certain concerns on it,
Okay,
which we never
but
really
the
get.
fact that we submitted this on a separate piece of paper than on that is what we're arguing about?
No,
No.
it's something that
it's
gives.
a visual. that
It's a
we're looking
visual.
for.
It is.
Okay, but
The whole
visual of
board.
what?
Well, we
It's the-
deal with this all the time.
I know,
Chris.
that's why I'm trying to make sure I understand what we're asking
It's
for.
looking at the survey,
seeing
seeing an
where the-
overlay on the survey of what the improvement will be.
So your application specifically says not to do that.
Well,
I will repeat.
so we're gonna
That
ask for
the
the
distances need to be
superimposed.
based upon existing distances noted on your property survey, not scale
Okay.
off the
They-
survey.
With all
So
due respect,
the
Chris,
site-
this is the first time, you're making an argument for the first time that no other applicant makes, okay? Just letting you know, I understand your point, and I am letting you know that
This
no
might be
other.
the first time that an applicant has submitted the same exact application twice and told us not correct the second time, when in fact it was entirely correct the first.
Well, the first application really doesn't exist for the most part.
Understood.
Okay? And this time around, I mean, every other applicant has brought it in, they haven't, we understand your point, so maybe we'll
The
just say.
previous
we want
site
this.
plan just viewed did not include that documentation. It was not a survey with site plan
Whatever the
information on top
previous
of it.
one was, it doesn't matter anymore. It just.
I'm sorry, why does it matter for some applicants but not for others?
No,
That
for
was a
all
different
applicants,
board.
for all
No,
applicants,
the
they
applicant,
present
the
that.
applicant you just approved, just now.
Well, what
20
about it?
minutes
He
ago.
present, what did he not present?
That site plan did not include the level of information you're talking about.
Oh, it
Yeah,
did?
it did, because he's building
saying
in the same footprint.
Uh-huh.
He's not
He's not
expanding
doing
beyond the
anything
footprint,
additional.
there was nothing else to show.
So
He's just
what-
going straight up.
So what
And he
documentation
had
did
the-
that
he
site
had the
plan have that this
dimensions.
one doesn't?
Well,
Because
you're-
you're putting new structures on a portion of the undeveloped property.
Uh-huh.
That's the
That's it.
difference.
That's the difference.
Right, so what additional documentation has not been submitted that doesn't meet your criteria?
Well, you're just trying to confuse the issue, because we've made it plain, all four of us
No,
know exactly.
I'm
what-
completely confused.
What we're asking, forget about, I mean, I wasn't even aware of what that page said. What we usually get is instead of
Elliot's
that-
been on the board the longest.
Yeah.
Elliot, what
We
do
get
you know?
We get
What do
a
you
Same thing.
drawing, a
Everything's been-
stipple drawing on the
That's
survey.
what we expect,
I've been
right?
doing it for 18 years.
18 years on this board, and he's gotta go. Chris, we get your point.
But I don't know what to give you. I really don't, because
An overlay of that on this.
Just, what you do is literally draw the extension
okay,
here.
I would really respectfully ask that you guys change the documentation of your own application to reflect that, and specifically to.
Okay,
pull
now
out-
that you are the first applicant to argue this, we
We
will
will
take
do
it under advisement, and it more than likely will be done.
Yeah.
But everybody else, and Elliot's been on board 18 years, gives us that information that way.
Yeah.
And, you know, Chris, I mean, we're
And-
not trying
in
to do
fact,
anything
you know,
rocket science.
It would not have come, you know, it was.
We understand everything you've done and the work you've put into this.
Yeah,
We do,
we do.
and we respect that.
I feel as though I'm being held to a different standard, because I'm
You're not.
providing
Not at
documentation in
all.
a
You're
different
not being
way.
held to different standards,
No.
believe me. We've had tougher things than this. Yours is not a different
Okay,
standard.
should we adjourn?
We've had
I
a lot.
vote to adjourn the meeting. Anybody second it?
I'll second it.
All in favor? I don't mean to cut you off, Chris, but.